Hey there everyone, this is Cass with SCNS Live. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to check out the video version of this, you can check it out on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all at SCNS Live. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
To the actual news topic, that's when you can come in with the charts. Just go to the charts then. We're going to look over here. Now you're going to be on the mic right here. I want you to come in and cover normal with cat cover right here. Don't worry about that.
Hey.
Whoa. Hey.
What is going on?
You're early.
You told me the show started at 9. Who is this?
You're.
Is that my Red Bull?
I did not give the robot a Red Bull.
Find my tablet device.
No, that was I was setting this up for you.
Get him out of here.
It's
No. Don't whisper to him. Never heard you whisper in your life. You're not going to start now. So hi, welcome to Super Cool Nerd Show. Jason's a betrayer, and we hate him. Let's roll that intro. Nope. We're not going to do an intro today. Hi.
Hey!
You're on camera.
What did you do?
I did stupid. Just know that. That's all you need to know.
Did you delete the entire show?
No, I accidentally hit the SCNN and then I got embarrassed with myself, so here we go.
So welcome to an all-new episode of the Super Cool Nerd Show, SCNS Live. We're glad all you guys decided to join us out there in the Super Cool Nerd Nation. And you could be doing probably anything else. But thanks for being here. Anyway, I am Jason the X. The lady to my left is Kat.
Optimus Prime.
I'm not talking to you.
Look, Omega. It's Kat. I didn't say Omega Supreme.
Don't ever call me an Omega again.
Seriously, that's rude.
It's just not gonna fly.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I'll take over from here. And then this is Cass.
I don't know how he thought Optimus Prime could replace you.
First of all,
Yeah, right?
Seriously.
Or the bad guy from Sonic or whatever that was.
no. Don't be clowning a giant robot.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that's the protagonist from Pacific Rim, right?
Yeah.
Big old robot.
That's a weird looking
I
diva.
didn't realize I wanted that movie until you said that out loud. Now I need Omega Supreme and Pacific.
Anyway,
Did
and
you
then
say it was
next
a Taco
to her-
Supreme?
I'd rather. I'm sorry.
Was it a Crunchwrap Supreme? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he
Were
wanted.
you about to say Taco Supreme?
No, I said that.
No, but it looked like he was about to say it.
No, I was about to say, hi, this is Alpha Male, and I would rather have her make a Godzilla.
I'd be on board.
Yeah.
And then
On our
over
panel.
there, turning the knobs, making everything look pretty. I didn't actually introduce you. This is Bryce. Hi, Bryce.
Alpha Male.
Alpha Male Bryce. And behind the scenes, making everything look pretty, is our producer, Cora.
Hi, I'm a disaster. And also, Taco Supreme is what that thing is.
I'm craving chalupas now. That's what's
Ooh,
happened.
chalupas are good too.
I didn't have to explain this purchase.
Anyway,
None of us are going to make you explain that purchase.
none of
ever.
us want you to talk
I don't
more.
care what y'all think. I do care what my wife thinks I'm too long. I couldn't exactly put a blanket over it or something, you know.
And when you got the Cinnabon Delight over there, she was cool with it.
I will die on this hill. His name is Omega Supreme. Omega Supreme.
Anyway, I don't know what
Supreme.
Beta over here had to say, but let's start it out with some super cool nerd news.
And just like that, we have an intro where it's supposed to.
Yay!
All right.
And as we, I had a story all prepped, ready to go, research. But damn it, we got to do this again. Movie Pass
Hey!
has found another way to screw everything up. So, Business Insider, kudos to their journalism staff. They have been conducting this investigative work for about 4 months with a temporary staffer from Movie Pass. Now, we covered that they were having some financial difficulties and just general, we don't know what the hell we're doing, and screw our customers. But when you were having problems in 2018 where it said there were no more showings for this movie, guess what? They were changing things. So power users of Movie Pass were having their passwords changed so they will be unable to use the service for that day. The reason is because they basically had a cap on how much money they could spend on movies per day. Once this tripwire, yes, they had a name for it, would hit, it would go to those power users and basically change the password on their service so they would be unable to use it to look at a movie. Real quick, hey Bryce, did you experience that at any point?
Dick move, Movie Pass.
Oh!
Once again, you've done it again. Yes, I have experienced that. Yeah, I got beat up by Movie Pass one evening.
What? Oh my gosh.
I did. There's video evidence of it out there.
Yep.
On our channel.
Oh, you bastards. So,
Luckily, the thief said thank you.
True.
and this was directly from CEO Mitch Lowe, who knew that you were costing the company a lot of money, and he was the one that instituted this plan. So there's where our blame is. From the former staffer, it was a guessing game. There were some days we actually got all the way through without the tripwire going off. But per Lowe's orders, big blockbusters would no longer be available on the app. MoviePass also enforced what was called the tripwire, an automatic shutdown mechanism for all users that will be activated if MoviePass would pass a certain amount balance. If money ever ran out, subscribers will see the following message on the app: there are no more screenings at this theater today. So, anyone out there that had this service, that had this happen to you, this was not an accident, this was not a bug, this was a feature. And I really hope someone just institutes a class action lawsuit and just gets rid of MoviePass if they don't already get rid of themselves anyway.
Doesn't that constitute fraud?
Actually, funny you should say
Yes.
that. The DOJ is now investigating them.
Good.
With a quote that says, from the U.S. Department of Justice told Business Insider, MoviePass's behavior is certainly unethical and could be illegal. Tick, 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 tick.
Boom.
Well, I felt like a victim. That's for sure. I felt like I got kicked in the side and in the head. And fuck you, MoviePass.
Ooh.
Bryce gets the one for the show. I'm
I
so
don't think
happy.
you've ever taken the one.
And I'm happy to let him have it, too.
Yeah.
Can
He
I just
deserves it.
Can I just say my favorite part of the statement about the tripwire going off is that they said that some days it didn't. It's the quote, some days. Some days we didn't completely fail as a company. Our most basic service. Some
There
days
were
that didn't
days-
happen.
There were days we might not have broken any laws.
Yeah, yeah.
Except for the thing where we didn't, tell on ourselves from the days before.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, that's
We're
my
breaking
favorite
I
part of
mean,
the whole thing.
And I actually had
Some days.
someone messaged me and said, do you think y'all went a little hard on MoviePass for that skit we made?
Nope.
Which, of course, at that time, I replied, I don't think so. Now I say, hell no. We didn't go hard enough.
Not enough.
I mean,
So-
it was a parody. It was pretty.
Yeah.
And at that time, they were not letting people stop paying them.
Well,
which is
I mean,
also
honestly,
fraud.
when this was happening was when we did the
Allegedly.
skit.
Yeah.
So,
Our
yeah.
lawyers say that we have to say allegedly. But
Yeah,
we're
our
just
legal
gonna,
team.
We're just gonna say it once, and we're gonna say
My cousin is still in law school.
yeah.
That's our legal team.
Our
Anyway.
legal team is a search platform,
Yeah.
basically.
No.
I googled.
We have the promise of legal representation. She ain't quite got there yet, but I mean, we'll have it. So anyway, good luck, MoviePass. Don't drop the soap. Anyway,
I want to be part of that lawsuit, by the
well,
way,
well,
if it
part of
happens.
the news. What have we got this week?
Okay, at San Diego Comic-Con, executive producer for the CW Arrowverse, stuff that you love, Mark Guggenheim. All right, the stuff that you love sometimes. Thank you, Cass.
Love one season out of every 4.
There you go. At the panel, at I believe it was the Legends panel, Mark Guggenheim was talking to the crowd and about Brandon Routh, and we discovered that when we have a costume and we use a costume, they put it in their archives, and they don't like to let it out. So Brandon wants to be a part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And CW agrees. Well, so Mark goes on to say, we won't be able to use your original costume. We're still trying to figure it out. We'll dress you in something. Obviously, if you have any ideas, we're all ears. Well, that's when Brandon stood up and he unzipped his jacket that he was wearing, and he was wearing a big S on his shirt. And Brandon says, I have an idea. Well, that was a great moment during the panel. And what Brandon was wearing was a logo from the Kingdom Come version of Superman, from Mark Waid and Alex Ross's classic miniseries. So on the heels of Brandon and Mark Guggenheim revealing that Brandon was going to be a part of this new Crisis crossover in the Arrowverse, it was also announced that Burt Ward was going to be joining the Arrowverse crossover, which is exciting. We don't know what he's going to be playing yet. But equally exciting is something that was revealed in the last couple of days. Mr. Kevin Conroy, who is beloved by fans probably worldwide, I would imagine, with his Batman that he's voiced in many games and across the animated series, various animated series. He has been recruited and will be playing Batman. We don't know in what form, but hopefully, I would think there's a good chance he's going to be the armored Batman from Kingdom Come. That's speculation at this point, which is exciting. So with that information, and Kevin making it known to casting agents through his Twitter feed that he wants to play the elderly Batman for a Batman Beyond TV series or film, which I think is awesome. Which hopefully you can see his visual there, his picture. But what I thought was really interesting as well was that there's a rumor that Mark Hamill could possibly bring a character into the fray, which I would love to see Mark again. We saw him play the Trickster in the Flash.
An elder version of the Trickster
as
well.
Yes. Yeah. He played it in the 90s, and as recently as 2016, he was on the Flash. So what I would love, and a lot of fans, I guess, have started the rumor, is that could he bring the Joker back for the Arrowverse crossover? So I tweeted Mark Hamill today, and I simply stated through Trapdoor Toys, which I've now losing. I had it home. It's coming.
It was absolutely
here. It is. Okay. I said to Mark Hamill, I said, have you agreed to play your iconic maniacal Joker with your buddy at the real Kevin Conroy for Crisis on Infinite Earths for the CW? And I hashtagged it. Please do it. Hashtag purple pants. Hashtag you know you want to. Hashtag Mark Hamill. No response yet. But I'm sure Mark is thinking about it. So I'm excited for Kevin Conroy and Brandon and the entire Arrowverse and Burt Ward. And I'm hoping Linda Carter is going to join the action. I think they're in negotiations with her. But if Mark Hamill comes along with Linda Carter, I'm going to be watching that show, and my peepers are going to be wide open. I'm excited.
It would be interesting because she is in the CW in the Arrowverse, but she's in a different universe, and that would be really interesting to me. Them playing kind of different universes, versions of different people.
Multiverse.
Exactly. She's the president of the United States in Supergirl's Earth.
Right.
And so it'd be really interesting to see a version of Wonder Woman or Kin in this Arrowverse. I'm actually hyped for it. Like the only one that I watch currently is Legends of Tomorrow, but I'm gonna watch this crossover. I mean, it's
Everybody watches the
Infinite. Yeah,
crossovers are always
the
good.
crossover last year was one of the funniest plot holes I've ever seen in my life, though. I'm going to put that out there.
It's going to be epic because they brought back John Wesley Shipp, which was great last time. And I would like to see them continue that tradition and, hopefully, bring in some Smallville members or whatever.
I saw a picture. No, what's his face? The guy that played Lex Luthor. He's coming.
No.
He's not?
Said officially he's not.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I still was hoping that he was going to be old Bruce from Batman Beyond. And maybe we get like a little taste of maybe Terry McGinnis. Like maybe like they end up in the future Batcave and he just turns around in the chair
Yeah.
and just goes, maybe you should meet Batman. Maybe we get Terry like coming out of the shadows, like flying at him. This is how I see it in my head. I have good ideas, CW.
That would be great.
I mean, I'm on board with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we already want him for the movie if they ever do a Batman Beyond. Well,
Oh, yeah.
everybody wants Keaton.
But
We could have the man.
And my
We could have Kevin
generation
Conroy.
doesn't care about Keaton. I don't think.
Although he will be perfect for the role, I think. As far as the look, I think he will nail it. Anyway.
Well, let's find room for Kevin Conroy and Michael Keaton, because that would be the best of both worlds, would it
I
not?
don't think you're gonna see Michael Keaton come back. He's not younger generation's Batman, like,
yeah.
and not
Yeah.
even super young like me. I didn't grow up with Michael
Keaton.
Keaton's Batman. No. I didn't care about the
Okay.
Batman that I saw until I was old enough to understand Batman better, and then it was already Christian Bale.
Well, what do you care about in the news this week?
Oh, it's not
Nice
Fortnite,
segue.
but
Oh,
that's where
no.
my story comes from. So, Fortnite has done a thing again. They have been blasted in the past for something very similar in some ways. Anyway, they dropped season 10 or X, I don't know which content today, and it included a giant F-off mech as part of their game. So, couple stats about the mech. It has 1,000 health, as opposed to the 200 that heroes have. It can cover gaps of hundreds of in-game meters in a few seconds. It can demolish a player immediately through a build. And yeah, it's not a little bit OP. It is insane. And everybody is losing their crap. I don't want to see your mech.
Did
Put
you
it
say
down.
giant robot?
Yeah, I heard a giant robot calling you from the kitchen. Maybe
I don't
you
want to
should go
see
check it
Cinnamon
out.
Twist over there.
Yeah. Put down Chalupa Supreme so we can get back to the show.
I don't want to brag, but Kat and I know the Taco Bell menu pretty well. We can keep this going all night.
Nobody thought that was
Please
funny.
I thought it was funny.
Anyway, so they dropped this content in the game. It looks surprisingly like a diva mech, which is super amusing to me.
Predominantly pink.
And we expected the patch notes to say something about, like, oh yeah, this might be like the Infinity Blade from earlier this year that wrecked the game. It didn't even mention the mech. There is an average of 2 of them in each drop zone, which is too many. They changed the whole game to find a mech, and you can use 2 players, one to pilot it and one to shoot missiles, but you can also just switch spots really fast. Yeah, and if none of that kills you, it also can stomp you to death. So, you know, Fortnite players are really pissed off. I mean, they always are, but they're pissed off at Fortnite right now.
How do you justify that? Have they even tried?
I think honestly what they may be trying to do is make it less focused on building.
Okay.
This isn't how you do that. It is in that if people aren't playing Fortnite, they're not going to build things
Yeah.
in Fortnite. They might go back to, I assume they all played Minecraft before.
That was always my
Really?
assumption.
Or Apex, but you won't have to worry about too many players building in your game. I assume that's why, but I think it's pro players had a fit, and then pro players had already had a fit just on spec
Yeah.
of it coming out, and then it's not been popular, so we'll see what they do.
I just heard my kid complaining about it, and I was like, sips his tea.
It is-
It's like if you had a diva mech and there weren't other tanks in the game.
no healers, no other tanks. Just Diva.
Just and health packs that you could conceivably run. And Torb, I guess, because he's a builder.
yeah. Just Diva. Okay, I want to see that game mode now. Just Storms and Diva.
Can
And
you headshot a
Symmetra.
diva?
It's Symmetra.
Consider her head's right there. Can you headshot a diva? Because I have tried.
You
Tried.
headshot the mech. It does an insane amount of and has a very forgiving hitbox.
I hate
Yeah.
divas. Anyway, sorry.
My favorite thing to do as Tracer would be to blink around divas and then punch them in the face. They get really, really tilted by it, and they forsake whatever objective to try and chase you down. It's my
That's
favorite in-game move. Anyway, that's all.
Oh my
hate
god,
Fortnite.
I love it. Well, no, I love the diva thing, not
That's
Fortnite.
I can tilt
Absolutely
a diva,
hilarious.
and if you tilt a diva, your team can destroy their team every
Then they
time.
launch their mech and get their cheap ass move off. Anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of Overwatch characters are broken.
I'm
and
sorry,
that's what
don't
makes the
you
game work.
love Deadeye? Don't you love McCree? You want to
Yeah.
talk about cheap moves?
Seriously.
Ooh, getting
So,
called
as I move over to
out.
Cora, what have you got this week? This is about me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have some Pokemon news for everyone today.
Yay! Maybe.
Yeah, it is yay.
Yay!
We have some new Pokemon to announce. That they announced that there will be specific Galarian. Is that the name of it? I can never pronounce it. I'm
I think
so
that's
bad
it.
at this.
I saw them there.
Galarian. Woohoo! I was close. Galarian forms for certain Pokemon like Weezing and Zigzagoon and Linoon. There are also some new forms for some of these Pokemon as well. I highly recommend watching the trailer for it to see all of them. I don't have time to pull all of those. But we do have a new Pokemon that has a hangry mode. And actually the picture for that is like right here. You can see the little bunny Pokemon that I call it. I guess it's more like a rat. It can be a dark type because of the hangriness, which I think is just absolutely wonderful, and I will have an entire team of them. But in addition to all of the new Pokemon, we got a new rival revealed named Bede, or Bede.
What?
Bidet.
It's that thing that shoots
I
water
would-
up your butt.
I legit, when I saw the character first, thought it was like a Betty White character, so I thought it was an old lady, which I thought was great. And then it turns out, no, apparently it's a boy. So I don't, like a young boy, so I don't know. I think it would be.
Do grandmothers and young boys not look the same usually?
Apparently not, but like in anime they can.
That's super weird.
So,
That is true.
But in addition, we also have the new rival team, because of course in Pokemon you always have a new team like Team Rocket, Team Skull, Team Aqua. This one is Team Yell. I'm not very fond of the name of it, but I do like the designs for the characters, and their leader is a woman.
Yay.
Yay.
Let's see. And her name is Marnie. And she is the goth princess that I have always wanted in a game, so I love her.
She's so pretty.
She's so cute, and her heels are my favorite thing because the heel is literally just a giant screw you spike, and I love it so much.
Screw you, Spike.
Leather jacket and a screw you spike on the heel. She is like my dream girl.
With a cute little pink dress. I like the
Yeah.
playing off of the
Yeah.
different gender.
The cute pink dress with the little bows in her hair, and then
Mhm.
like the shave on her side. It's great. I love her. I would die for her. Can I join Team Yell?
I think they've been wondering that, like, they
Hold on,
successfully made Team Rocket vaguely uncool with, like, Meowth and his New Jersey attitude, but, like,
Yeah.
they're setting the bar higher and higher.
Team Skull was like pretty cool.
Yeah, and
They
now
were-
you came out rocking a goth princess. Like, that's a
And
badass.
The other thing is that Jesse and James will also be back in this game. Like they will actually be in this game.
Really?
Yep, it's the first time they've been in a game. In like the main games, I think since Pokemon Yellow, because they weren't in Blue or Red, but they were in Pokemon Yellow, trying to steal your Pikachu, which is where it came from in the anime. But
I wonder
Yeah.
if that will filter
excited.
down to Pokemon Go at any point.
Oh.
If
It
so,
might.
We just got Team Rocket on Pokemon.
that's true. Cass and I used to like collect Pokemon and name them. Whatever we thought was appropriate. And
Super nice
unfortunately,
names.
we already had a hangry
Yeah.
in the Mankey because that's what I thought it said when it came up at first.
Also, it looks hangry.
He looks hangry.
Well, yes. I love, like, the descriptor for the Pokemon even says hangry mode. And I have never related so much to a Pokemon.
What does that mean in game?
It means that it's hungry all the time, and if you don't feed it, it gets hangry.
Does it try and kill you?
It changes form.
It tries to eat your
So,
face.
like, let me pull the
Does
picture
Like
back
that.
up.
it move
So
from like grass to like dark or something?
it goes from a regular, I think, electric ground to dark.
That's
I
hilarious.
believe that is the type shift. I know it goes to dark. I don't remember what it is prior.
If you feed it, does it go back?
It will change back. I'm assuming that there's probably like a mode to like activate the hangry mode,
Yeah.
but the fact that there is a hangry
That's
mode and it
hilarious.
changes type because it's hangry is just wonderful. I don't care what anyone says.
It's
People-
actually genius
Right?
too. Like it's strategically interesting for
It's like what they used to do with
Pokemon.
Neopets.
Yeah, which Neopets eventually, the rumor is, will be coming back, but we don't have enough concrete evidence for that, so I won't talk about it.
they're also
But-
trying to finish up. They have to get full closure on what it was.
Yeah.
That's what the sources are saying, but we don't know for
Yeah.
sure. But that's the rumor.
As a note, I'm keeping an eye out for information, so the minute I know, all of you will know, because I want Neopets back to, ignore my pets for another 10 years.
We got to go on to our last news story, but speaking of eye,
No.
nice job on your eye makeup this time around.
Thank you,
This
I
time,
knew that was.
Well, no,
important
I
to
was
her.
lamenting that my eyeliner for the first time in like 3 months was completely even, and I lose it because of glasses.
Like for 20 minutes.
oh yeah, but you
So,
are rocking
everyone-
goth princess.
So, what have you? I was going to segue to what have you got, princess? But I decided against it. But essentially, I've done it anyway. So, what's on the news this week?
So, if you have ever bought a loot box and were disappointed with the results, you now have a little bit better chance of at least understanding what the odds are of you getting what you want in your loot box. The ESA, which is the Entertainment Software Association, which is a self-regulated association of a bunch of different game developers, is they released a commitment to basically release the odds for their loot boxes. This has come after a series of like congressional, not trials, that's not what they're called. Hearings, congressional hearings about the subject, basically saying that loot boxes are a form of gambling. There was somebody came from, I believe it was Microsoft, who compared loot boxes to Kinder eggs and said it wasn't a form of gambling, it was a form of surprise mechanics.
Okay.
Quote,
Guess what community loved that?
Quote, people like surprises. Carrie Hopkins had this unfortunate quote, whereas British Parliament did like a 7-year study on how basically loot boxes are addictive. Korea and China both have laws that say you have to disclose the odds of a loot box, of you getting what you want in a loot box. And basically we're moving towards that, but we were still in self-regulation mode. So a bunch of different companies, including like Blizzard, Bethesda, EA, Ubisoft, and Wizards of the Coast, actually, are part of this commitment to basically self-regulating and giving you the odds of your loot boxes.
This only extends to buying loot boxes,
Correct.
though, and that is an important.
Yeah. You get loot boxes in Overwatch, but you don't pay for them.
You can pay for them, and they have released the odds
Gotcha.
like a year ago. You wouldn't have seen probably for that because
I've
my
never bought a
obsession
loot
has
box.
so been linear with Overwatch.
Yeah.
But they released it after they ran into some trouble in Korea
Yeah.
for not disclosing it. They released it worldwide. So anywhere you can buy loot boxes, they.
You said when last year? I think Blizzard did
I think
it.
it was.
Apple did it
sure.
for iOS games in 2017, and Google Play did it earlier this year. So starting next year, 2020, basically a lot of your favorite games, let's be honest, are going to have the odds of loot boxes built into the system, which I think is really nice. We're going to move into a topic about children in video games. And statistically, children do get into gambling through loot boxes in video games. Again, British Parliament did like a 7-year study saying that they were addictive. So
I have, since my child plays Fortnite, I am limiting the money that he is allowed to spend from his allowance on the boxes.
And most platforms have some sort of regulation built in for stuff like that. So if you have kids and you've never paid attention, you might want to start.
Yeah.
Like you can automatically add so much money per month on PlayStation, I think, and various in-platform regulations.
I don't know when you're gonna be able to start doing that for adults. I personally know adults that have spent $300 over the course of a weekend on loot boxes.
Oh my god.
Do you know how many Omega Supremes they can buy with that?
Oh my god.
Yeah, but how would you
How many
carry
bean
them all?
burritos?
How many Taco Bell bags would they hand out with one order, and how long would it take them to make it?
How much miles
Y'all
off
can
can you
hate
get with that?
On my
You
Omega
know what?
Supreme,
They would-
I own it. That's all I
You know
care
what?
about.
You know what? They would have to, refuse the order and make them call in ahead of time so that they could make this, because it would count as a catering order at that point.
That's
right.
true. Do you have to ask for the toppings on the side with them?
I think
No,
you do.
I think by default they just throw them on there unless you want to put it on the side.
I mean,
Well,
I don't
thank you
want
everybody for the
onions
news, and
on
now
my
we're
cheese
changing
Omega
lettuce.
food
Supreme.
all of a sudden.
I know.
So,
I'm hungry now.
It doesn't help that I was so hungry
Yeah.
before we got here.
so it occurs to me that I gamble as a child a lot as well, and it wasn't just video games.
Baseball cards.
It
You
was.
do baseball
Thank
cards?
you. That's exactly what I was
Ooh.
going to say. Baseball cards and Star Trek and Star Wars cards, because I wanted to complete my sets.
Can I ask how much they were individually?
They ran pretty because I got the Marvel cards.
Oh, I got some of those too,
They were like
and DC cards.
$2 a pack.
Well,
Is
Well,
that a lot?
Isn't
It
that
was. It was then.
Genuine
It was.
question. Was that a lot?
what was your
When I was a
allowance?
kid, yeah, that was my money.
Nobody thinks that it wasn't a lot. We just don't have context. Was it like, how much would you get a week for allowance if you got one? Was it like
Oh.
5?
It was a little bit more than that, I think. But
Okay.
I just remember going to Kmart, and they were in a locked
Oh,
case,
Kmart.
and I would have to like I'm adding up, and I would like have the lady come over there and unlock it, get like 2, open them up to see if I got the one. I would crap. Give me 2 more.
Oh,
It
that
was like
could
buying
not be
lotto
fun.
tickets.
yeah.
Do you know how much a gallon of milk was at the time?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Kids don't buy gallons of
No.
Fair enough.
I
I'm
couldn't
gonna look
answer
up an
that question.
inflation calculator and see like what. How much is that?
When I was younger, like the very earliest, I can remember it was Pogs would come in packs too, I think.
I didn't know what Pogs were until like 3 months ago.
I still don't know how to play the game, and
you,
I
you
like
literally
dumb
just
as hell.
throw a thing until they flip over. That's it.
They were
That's the whole
just-
thing.
I remember albums of kids like full of them, though.
Oh.
It was more about the visual than it ever was about
Yeah.
the game.
So, as we leave the news, I do want to cite something today. Today is August 8th, 2019, and I would like to salute a legend. Something that has been near and dear to my heart for many years. 33 years ago today was the day that Transformers the movie released.
Nice.
33 years ago. So,
Jason was a young, bright 27-year-old.
yes,
When he was
I am
young.
unmoored. So,
That was a fun movie with a great soundtrack.
We also had a very important birthday on August 5th.
oh, really? What?
Yeah. The Curiosity, the Mars rover, saying happy
Ooh.
birthday to itself 3 days ago.
That's
don't
the
see why
loneliest happy
everyone-
birthday ever.
Thinks it's a big deal. That's just what it's like being a Christmas baby.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh.
Did it have electronic digital cake?
I don't know how to answer that question.
They let it have the day off. They
The
didn't want
cake
it.
is a lie.
That's fair.
It's
Can
the
I
most
take the day off?
appropriate
No.
that's ever been.
Yeah.
No, the aliens on Mars brought him a cake.
Are they little green ones?
Maybe, we don't know.
That's
Okay, fair
racist.
They're called cupcakes. Oh, you mean the aliens?
The little green ones, yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, folks, get the fun out of your system. We gotta
Yeah.
do this. Okay,
All right,
so,
strap in.
So, unfortunately, on the past weekend, we had yet another Tragic shooting happened. 22 people in El Paso lost their lives, 9 in Dayton, Ohio. Yes, I got it right. Look at that. This is unfortunate, but as these things happen, we always look to a reason why it happened. And that's just part of human nature. We want to know why these things happen so that we can maybe come up with a plan for the next time it happens. But unfortunately, we're not looking in the right places because a number of politicians who may or may not be in the pocket of the NRA apparently got a memo to go out and just say, it's video games! They're causing it, these violent video games of Call of Duty. Ooh. I believe that, Cora, we have a response from the internet, I believe.
Oh, yes. Allow me to get, see, oh, yes, here it is.
Okay. Oh, is that another one that we have over there too?
Oh, yes, I do have another one. Now, this one's a little bit longer, so I'll leave that one on the screen for a little bit longer.
The internet can have a little bit for this one.
Yes.
Informative. Thank you, Cora.
Oh, absolutely.
Good job.
Now, we have been through this multiple times. There have been studies that have been done to link something to these shootings. And while I did quite a bit of research on this, I may have figured out something, but I'll get to that. The numbers don't lie. 95% of children do some sort of gaming, whether it be online, portable, tablet, iOS and Android-based games, they all do it. The gaming industry, per just 2019, spent in just Japan over $150 million on video games. The fact is, the numbers don't add up. Now, we are going to be intellectually honest on this. There have been studies that have shown that video gaming does cause an increase in aggression in some people.
No, cause is not the word that you should use. It's correlated.
Correlates. I apologize. But also in the same way, if you watched a sad movie like Avengers Endgame and they said, I love you 3000, it would make you sad, but not clinically depressed. While an emotion may be invoked, it doesn't mean that person is necessarily a threat to themselves or others. Now, while we're going through that chart, the USA spends about $120 million on gaming per year. 150. That was just Japan. South Korea clocks in above us at about 125 million.
Shocker.
It seems as though they spend a lot more money on video games and actually have more gamers per capita. And yet, violent gun deaths in that country are far below, I believe, just in the hundreds. Whereas ours, unfortunately, are quite a bit higher. Since 2017, there's been, about 4 in every 100,000 deaths in our country. Now, what qualifies as a mass murder? As the FBI, a multiple homicide incident in which 4 or more victims are murdered with firearms within one event and in 1 or more locations in close proximity. This is a terrifying number when you do a lot of this research, because I know a lot of us at this point, we're really numb to this. It's like, there's another. But when you really start looking at the hard numbers of it, it's bad. We've been tracking mass shootings since about the 1920s. The 1960s saw an increase in this, which coincided actually with the creation of the M16 in '64 and upticked in the 70s when a lot of the original M16s were offloaded for the public to buy. It's when the Army switched over to the Alpha II. And those numbers chart a lot higher. I've included some links to mass shootings, and unfortunately, we're at this level now. Understandably, everyone would like to do something about this if they're being genuine about it. Attacking gamers and saying, your people are the cause is absolutely bullshit. The numbers are not there. Yes, an argument can be made that maybe we don't raise a child right or secure our weapons so that they can't get to them, or in some cases where we allow the mentally handicapped or ill to buy weapons, a measure that was recently revoked. It was like about 2.5 years ago. Something happened there. Can't remember what it was. But we did have a measure that would put more regulations on the mentally ill buying weapons. Fortunately, we don't have that anymore. For people to immediately go to, oh, it's a mentally ill thing, this is why we're having the problem, but yet we have revoked a measure that would have prevented that, I find disingenuous. And then to come and attack me for something that I use as an outlet. A lot of people use gaming as an outlet to maybe not have violent tendencies. Not saying everybody is just a murderer waiting to happen, and if they don't get that match in on Call of Duty or Overwatch, we got real problems. No, it's not true. I don't think when people immediately look up a martyr like video games for explanations of these things, they are being honest about a real solution to a very real problem. Tell the 22 people that got killed that video games were responsible for what oh, you can't, they're gone. This brings up another measure, real quick, because we're trying to keep it to the video games alone. But as a gun owner and someone that does support the Second Amendment, I do not agree that anyone can go buy any weapon that they want with no training or anything. People have immediately, oh, should we regulate guns like cars because cars kill people? Absolutely. Yes. That will be fine with me. So if they try that trap with you, no. I understand there are people that might have a differing opinion about that, and yes, we're delving into subjects that we don't really get into a lot, but no one is attacking the real source of the problem, nor coming up with any solutions, because already we're starting to forget that a bunch of people lost their lives, and I guarantee it wasn't because someone was inspired by Call of Duty. I was a soldier for 10 years. Playing video games did nothing to make me a better soldier, nor did it do better for me to make a house out of little blocks or defeat vampires in Castlevania. Doesn't happen. They're not creating murderers. They are an outlet of entertainment for us, just like movies are, just like books are, just like poetry are. Yes, there are people that will find problems and find ways to take something that they've immersed themselves in and make it into something harmful. But as far as everybody doing it, it's just not there. Sorry, I went a little bit longer than I thought I was.
I think it's worth bringing up one of the... Sorry. I'm going to try this one more time. I think it's worth bringing up. A professor named Patrick Markey actually researched a lot about this subject and found that people that have committed violent acts were actually much less likely to play violent video games. 20% of people that had committed violent acts liked or were interested in playing violent video games versus 70%. This is within exclusively the male population, but we haven't had a woman mass shooter.
Isn't that interesting?
We can't really argue with the numbers on that.
Play violent video games kind of a lot, actually. There's been they did a study to discover if men and women both liked killing things in game, right? Yeah. And they found that interest gauged the same if they weren't going for realism with weapons. It's where women tend to get bored.
Yeah, which
they like fantasy, they like spells, they like just multi-weapon. Generally, this isn't true for all of them. It's true for me.
I was about to say, anecdotally, that's me. I don't like Call of Duty. I don't particularly like realistic violent
video games. Not my particular game either, but I mean, I've not felt the need to go after a bunch of Valkyries with a flaming axe either.
Oh, that's because they're so hard.
They're so difficult.
Brad, they would kill me.
Yeah.
And I don't make my son
super dope
play with a bow and arrow. Oh wait, I do actually. Anyway, or not. Oh,
I mean, that's just cool though.
And I do call him boy quite a bit.
Boy.
Boy. I mean, I don't like when they do this because it's just so disingenuous.
Here's the thing. I don't care if I'm attacked in this. I don't care. I don't care if you want to study it. The only thing that I care about is you distracting from actual issues to talk about video games. I would be happy to study in more depth and regulate more fully if before that we can get guns under control in the country.
There were people, when they were mad about Mortal Kombat, boy, they acted quick to put a rating system on video games. They actually did something. And quite quickly.
Which is?
They instituted the video game rating system.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, I actually think, oh wait, that's still in effect.
And who did all that? Congress.
So if you would like to talk
Working
about violent
with
video
gamers,
games,
by the way.
if you want to talk about violent video games, maybe actually pay attention to the rating system.
I mean, yeah, and absolutely, like, motivation matters, but access matters more. That's
Yeah.
why they security screen you before you talk to the president. Like, I'm not, but that's why, is because they care less. They background check you too, so
Yeah.
they care about both. But if you don't have access to, it doesn't matter as much if you're really mad about it. But I wanted to give you some, like, I can only think of the word ammunition. In the case, like, if you're discussing this, first of all, don't discuss it. Say we need to talk about guns, like actual real guns. But if you're interested in knowing some of what to reference, you can. Oxford did a study on this in recently. Oxford Internet Institute and the University of Oxford in this year actually showed no link between playing violent video games and aggression in adolescence. It was the most comprehensive study to date. It studied subjective and objective information about it, so both how they, they said they felt and their behavior with adolescents and their caregivers, which I thought was an interesting next step. They found, nope, they didn't find any correlation. But one thing you need to know, if you're talking to really anybody who's like, oh, but violent video games and blah blah blah, you need to know about something called selection and socialization hypothesis. Selection hypothesis is whether people who are already aggressive and prone to aggressive acts will choose to play violent video games. Socialization is if the video games cause aggressive feelings. They, who was that? 2016, the APA, American Psychological Association, I think, did a study on this, and they found between 14 and 21-year-olds no indication of a socialization hypothesis. Like, no.
So it's not causing.
It's not causing it. They found some minor correlation in selection between 14 and 17-year-olds. This was all male. 14 to 17-year-olds might be more likely to choose to play violent video games if they were already demonstrating aggressive behavior. In 18 to 21, that's dropped off completely. They're not more
video
likely.
games inspired you to do anything?
I played River Raid on Atari as a kid. I played various Batman and Star Wars, games with my kids on PlayStation.
Have you at any point desired to go out and fight crime as Batman? Wait, that's not really a fair one.
That's not a good question to ask me.
I mean, desire, sure.
The desire is there.
But you haven't.
The realism. No, I have not.
See?
No, I have not suited up to do that yet. Can we talk about? When you talk about video games, I also want to throw in the movies. I went to a Friday the 13th movie marathon a couple of years ago with some friends of mine, and I saw 8 slasher films in one day.
Oh,
I did not want to commit violence after that. I was perfectly okay with just watching it, and didn't even enter my mind I was going to try and take weapons and use them in a
You mean you
in a terrible
understood
way.
that this was a movie and a form of escapism?
I did.
and that These are actors and special effects on screen?
Oh, I love the John Wick movies.
I did, and yeah, me too.
Have you had the desire to go out and become a super trained assassin?
she doesn't like dogs very much.
Oh yeah. I don't hate them or anything.
This is the level of argument the other side is presenting right now. Well, you're not a dog fan, so clearly it doesn't apply to you.
Cora, have you ever had the need to put together a band of adventurers and go on an epic quest? Of course you have. What am I
Well, I
asking
mean,
you?
yes. I mean, I've tried to recruit 107 people, but they won't join me.
She's like, cool.
So-
Do you
Is that
ever want
how
to
many
kill your
sleeping characters there are?
adventurers?
In each game, yes, there's 107 characters to recruit.
Do you ever want to kill your adventurers? Cora?
Maybe anyone sitting at this table.
Tune in next week.
Not
This
player-wise.
Saturday.
Not player-wise, character-wise maybe, but never player-wise. Actually, this discussion, it's kind of tangentially correlated with this. In college, when I was taking sociology, our teacher showed us what he considered a modern documentary called Tough Guys. And it was a movie about male aggression. Now, here's the thing, this movie was made in 1990. So there is an entire chapter on media and video game violence and how it causes men to become aggressive. On the surface, I can see their point, where it's like, oh, I have to be like the guy in the movie. I have to be like the guy in the video game, the guy on TV. It's tough and manly and has no feelings and just wants to solve everything with his fists. But that's not how that works. While usually people that think that's not what goes through their head. And I've talked about this kind of before. The school I went to did have a shooting. Not while I was there, but while my cousin was there, which was great to learn after. The shooter was a nerd, but he didn't play violent video games. He played like Mario. And his catalyst was other people and how they treated him. And so that video games couldn't be ruled as a cause. And for some people, that's what happens. And just, you can't blame video games and media for it, because just like that documentary, it's wrong. And I think wasn't it last year or the year before, they proved that video games weren't the cause of mass shootings and violence?
Several times.
All of the studies I looked at proved it again.
Well, what I mean is, like, they officially, like, official, it's not a mental disorder kind of problem kind of thing. Like, they finally officially, within the last few years, said video games are not the cause of violence like that.
There's actually been positive correlation between online gamers and socialization and normalization of becoming engaged with a group.
It's a form of social interaction.
It's online video games have actually seen correlation with decreases. That's not causation, but there's correlation with online becoming more popular and decreases in violent acts. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask a question, and this is getting entirely into hypothetical territory, but statistics have shown over and over that it's just not a thing. My question is this just a swerve?
Yes.
Is this?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
We can look at hard charts and numbers. Other countries have access to the same media that we do. Movies, video games, music, books, they all have access to those same media. The only difference is they have less guns and less access to them. So this is kind of a no-brainer at this point. What's the one thing that they have, that we have, that they don't?
I would also like to
Access
point out that there was a white supremacist essentially manifesto.
Also a problem.
Yeah.
It is a problem, despite what you might hear off of, a talking head on TV.
Well,
Nationalism is a problem.
he said the thing about Call of Duty Super Soldiers, and that's honestly, that's not a problem for us. We've proven over and over and over again. Like, my advice, as it were, is to say, absolutely, we can discuss that, but first, let's talk about this. The number one priority. There's actually something supposedly from the NRA that was leaked that suggests to immediately start talking about the media's role and video games and movies as an intentional, we're not going to talk about the gun problem.
As a suggestion to, like, politicians or to media?
To NRA members.
Oh, to NRA members. Okay.
And politicians.
Yeah, if I pay that kind of money to a politician, you better say exactly what I want you to say.
And I do not believe it's usually an unbiased platform, but I actually, much to my own surprise, have to give props to Fox News and Slasher.
Interesting.
Yeah. Slasher is a well-known esports reporter.
Yeah.
His sources are just not really all that confirmed most of the time. He does tend to be right, but like it's not journalism. Anyway, but he went on Fox to like last week or 2 weeks ago to teach one of the hosts about Fortnite, and they brought him back to be like, so is there correlation here?
Wow.
And while Slasher could have been a little firmer on sources, he definitely stood up for video games. He stood up for all of us, and Fox actually had the balls to bring him in and ask him that question, knowing that what his answer would be. So I will get all over Fox being incorrect a lot, but they actually did something to help. So I feel like we have to.
Good on you, Fox.
Yeah, right.
God, I never
like
thought I would say that.
I know, right? Like for me, having known of Slasher for quite some time, I was surprised to be giving kudos to either of them. But they both did a good thing.
So, go ahead, Rich. Yes.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, going back to something that Cass said, domestic terrorism is a problem. It needs to be combated. We need to, and I know the FBI is trying to do what they can to, figure out what the white supremacists are doing. That's a huge problem for us in this country. And the authorities, I've read, have classified the El Paso attack as domestic terrorism. According to the FBI, 40% of its 850 domestic terrorism cases are racially motivated and most involve white supremacists.
You found another link.
Yeah. So,
Fascinating.
between the racism and the hot weather, which they've done studies to prove that more violence occurs on those days.
Hot weather makes me cranky, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have been killing each other in this country forever. Before we had guns, right? One caveman takes another caveman's parking spot. That's a bad situation.
That's how the mammoths died out, I think.
Right. Yeah. They got in the way. They were
Well, they were
friendly
in the
fire.
parking spots.
Yeah. Oh, they were in the parking spots. I get what you mean. Sorry, but
It's the Cain instinct.
right. But besides the racism and
Video games.
I'm sorry.
The video games.
Yeah. We do need some changes, and it seems like the NRA has too big of a chokehold on the people that control that. So we've been in a stalemate for how long now, trying to change that.
As I did say, a lot of us are gamers, but I would like to, in closing, we may be nerds and gamers, but we're also voters. We need to demand better of our representatives, especially when they put up a false equivalent like this.
Gamers, rise up.
50 years ago today, actually, is the anniversary of the Charles Manson murders. And Manson was mentally ill. It happened tonight in California, the murders of Sharon Tate and her associates, and her unborn child. That happened 50 years ago tonight. And, Manson, if you want to talk about domestic terrorism, he wanted to start a race war.
Mm-hmm.
That was his goal. So we've been dealing with domestic terrorism for...
As long as we've been a country, honestly.
Yeah, a long time.
Longer than there have been video games.
Yes.
A lot.
Has anybody
longer.
seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well,
Pretty sure he's in it.
no, I think I saw something. Anyway, we do got to start closing the show, but to everybody else out there, we always encourage you. Let's get along. Let's love each other. I know our community is a lot more inclusive. We fall sometimes, but...
And remember that sometimes you're being watched as a gamer, and try to represent gamers in a good way.
There you go. Anyway, guys, thank you all for joining us. I know this is a more serious show, but sometimes we have to tackle topics like this. We can't just la 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 and have fun. Sometimes we feel the need to use our platform, to say things.
And I just want to add infinite diversity, infinite combinations. Okay?
Yep.
Inclusive. That's what Star Trek has long been about, and I've always loved that philosophy. So just want to piggyback on that and say we do need to love one another and treat each other as brothers and sisters.
Let's be that example.
Right.
Nerddom is about outcasts originally, and it's more mainstream now, but that just means people who seek acceptance get acceptance here, no matter what they were before.
And with that, guys, we are going to end the show. A couple of shout outs this weekend. Dallas Comic Show happening over in Louisville. I'm going to put some links up to that. We also have LeakyCon this weekend. It's a Harry Potter convention. I have no idea what Harry Potter is. Anyway.
It's a mystery.
Also, we will be filming an all-new episode of Alternate Heads. Make sure you go and like the last show because we are doing a giveaway. Yes, you can win toys. Wait, why are we giving away toys and not just giving them to me? Anyway,
I thought these were mine.
You can win a full DC Comics Multiverse Series 11 line. Nathan just put a review of that up on the channel. Go check them out if you want to see what you could possibly win. It's a pretty good gift, and we're going to be giving away something on the show after this giveaway. So, and with new people come along, we are doing new things on the channel. We are announcing a new show coming to the SCNS Live Network. Cora, would you like to tell us a little bit more about that show?
Yes, I will tell you a little bit about it real quick. It's going to be a show called Anime TV, where Nier and I will be talking and discussing various animes. The first one, we don't have a date when it will be released, but we're going to kick it off for the fall season since sports are going to be a thing again. We're going to kick it off with the sports anime Ice Shield 21. It's an iconic anime that was actually endorsed by the NFL.
Cool.
Nice.
And also,
why didn't they want me to be on that show?
I didn't know.
No.
We will have guests
No.
periodically. We may ask you.
I'm the least qualified person to be on most anime shows. I'm
So-
so happy that it's coming back to SCNS anime in a big way.
So, by the way, how to win these, go over to the last Alternate Heads episode. Comment in there, but if you want an extra chance to enter, go to social media, tag at the Alternate Heads podcast. Give us a shout out on social media. We'll see it. You get another chance to enter.
Can I win these?
No.
I know your
Heard of
name.
it.
Anyway, guys, that is our show. Thank you for joining us. If you want to follow us, you can follow us at SCNS Live on all of our social media platforms, Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/SCNS. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JasonX.
You can find me on Twitter, usually at Doa Drawings with Cass, where we make
Truly
bad
horrendous.
cartoons of things that Overwatch League casters say. It's over 200 people like to see our crappy cartoons, and on Instagram at BetterCat.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Cass_Bradley. That is KAS_Bradley. You can also find me doing stuff with Now with Milk. We release a short every Wednesday on YouTube. So
They're comedy.
they're
They're supposed to be.
kind of comedy. Let's say they're comedy. No, that's good, I think.
Damn.
Self-burn.
Those are rare.
I think you categorized it correctly.
Thank you.
You can find me at Bryce Culver on Facebook and Instagram, and also I have a toy page on Instagram. It's called Trapdoor Toys. And where can they find you at, Cora?
You can find me on Instagram at Corodono. It's spelled down there, where I post artwork and cosplay related things. I also post on Twitter at Hawks Perch, where I will scream into the void about Suikoden until it screams back.
Or gives you a bag or a watch.
I bought the bag. I'm not even gonna lie.
It was so pretty.
A company is making official merch that is this really nice handbag and this really nice watch for Suikoden 2, and I bought the bag. And if you want your own, I posted a link to it on my Twitter, and the money won't come out until December. So if you want that, you should get that.
spending money on frivolous things.
You
Jeez.
have no room to talk with your Taco Supreme over there.
Yeah, you can find Jason cradling his no onions, no tomatoes chalupa taco burrito.
That's
Supreme.
Jason over there with his Mexican pizza.
That's the worst Mecha
I think it's
Godzilla I've
called
ever
a
seen.
Delta Supreme.
So anyway, from all of us, including Omega Supreme, keep on
nerding.
nerding.
You didn't say what we always say.
We always say this.
We always say it.
Why don't you and Chalupa go hang out?
We will.
I don't beat you.
Peace and long life. Live long and prosper.
All right, that is our show. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to check out the live video version of this, you can find it at YouTube and Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter, all at SCNS Live. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing week.